What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another edition of the Hard Count. Hut! See right there. I got you. Caught you off guard right there. That's a 5-yard penalty. Let's go. That little hut I got. I didn't say hike. That was just a little hut right there. See? Hard count. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something, CJ. I was a big man. I was always on the line. I was great with the quarterback. No offsides for me. No offsides.
Okay.
I feel like, listen, I hate to be this guy. And listen, it's also more complex in the NFL. I'll give them that, obviously. I don't understand how you get a false start, bro. I don't get it. They say on 3, go on 3. What is so difficult about this?
It's tough for some people, bro. It is.
I think we got to start finding people that get an offsides penalty or encroachment, whatever the hell it is. Anything. If it's on 3, you just wait. Well, I mean, what is so difficult about it? I need an offensive lineman to come on the show.
People be ready to go. It's fear too, especially if you're on the O-line. Just getting pushed over.
Yeah, you don't want to get bodied.
You want that ass
start.
Who's it?
Jordan Davis and that center on the Eagles.
Oh, Kelsey that was going at it.
I don't think it was Kelsey. I
was in backup.
But I mean, that man was getting pushed around like it was absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he's only 22. He's gonna be a problem.
I mean, isn't he the one that, like 350 ran like a 4.3?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
What are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah. If he gets like some elite pass rush moves, it's GG's.
CJ, I feel like that you see that in the NFL and you're like an older dude, it's kind of clinging to your career a little bit, like, oh, this might be my last team. I feel like I see that. I'm retiring. I'm like, you know what? I had a good run.
Yeah, especially if you getting babied, and the worst thing is watching the film after the game.
Ooh. In
front of all your teammates. The coach got the clicker and just
the laser pointer.
Yeah, just showing you getting worked. Yeah, that's the worst. That's why you try to make sure you got to perform every play. If not, you're gonna get called out. Definitely gonna get called out. And then not only in front of the team, also in front of your position group too, because they watch film separately as well. So that's double the criticism. But it's tough. But hey, man, these guys get paid a lot of bread to make that happen.
A lot of money. Well, just give me a little, give me a little snippet. I'm telling you right now, I'm out there. I'm a practice dummy. Like, I would happily be a practice dummy for CJ. Give me like $250 a year. I need $250 for the year. To the NFL team, that's nothing. You don't get any of your players hurt because they're only tackling me.
So
like, listen, I don't got the speed. I don't got the speed, CJ. But hear me out, right? I think I got a solution. Give me a little those skateboards with the motors on them. Give me one of those, and then I'll get up to about 15 miles an hour or something, whatever it is. Try to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Recreate some speed out there, and then bam, you can just body me off the skateboard. It's the same thing.
So what position you on the O-line?
Listen, I'm all over.
D-line?
You remember those moon shoes?
The moon shoes, yeah, facts.
All right, so give me some of those. I can pretend to be a corner. I'll get some hops.
Yo, those moon shoes advertisements were crazy. Crazy, man.
Well, I'm $250. You doing that too? Practice dummy?
$250 a year practice squad? Yeah, I don't even think I'm not sure how much they make.
No, you're not even a practice squad. You're practice dummy. You're getting tackled all practice.
Oh, just getting
I'm good with it.
For $250. That's a lot. I don't know. I would have some pride, man. I'm not gonna let nobody.
See, listen, you're a better guy than me.
I'm not gonna let nobody just run over me.
No.
And then I gotta go in the ice bath after that. Looking at the teammates like, yo, you just let this guy just baby you like that? No way.
For $250, not worth. I wouldn't even get another job. I'm good for the year. If you can't live off of $250,
if I'm gonna put my body, if I'm gonna put my body through that, I need to see some reward. I know the bread sounds nice, but I'm gonna need that reward, bro. This guy Corey says, I don't think you're getting $250K for practice squad. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like they don't get paid that much. But he was saying just.
I just mean to be in a fantasy world. If you could be paid $250 to be a tackling dummy, I would do it. I'm absolutely doing it. But hey, who am I? Money makes me very happy. Nothing in this world I wouldn't do for the right price. Money will buy anything for me. Anyways, CJ, listen, we've gotten 5 minutes and 41 seconds into the show. I feel bad. I don't even know how you're doing yet. How are we doing there, guy? How's my guy?
Yes, sir. I'm doing well. We just talked about before we went on the show. Like Madden's out right now. Madden 23. If you pre-ordered it, you get it 4 days early. So I seen just watching a couple people on Twitch play some Madden. It looks good. It looks good. Can't wait to get that on Friday when it officially drops. Get my thoughts on it next week. Next episode. Give a little preview on the game. See if it's all it's lived up to be, because there's a lot of changes they claim. So they always claiming that they're adding new things. Yeah, they always say that they're adding new things, but they're really just taking away stuff that they had in the game years ago and just bringing it back. So like the Madden's back in the PlayStation 2 days, untouchable.
Oh, I know. I mean, I was a young man. Young whippersnapper, some would say. And those old men, I remember, was there an Eagle running back on the cover one year?
No, but McNabb was on there. That was 06.
Because I remember the Vic one. That was 07, right?
Vic was 04.
04?
Yeah.
Damn, I remember that. I was 4 years old. But
Sean Alexander was on
I can't remember what Madden it was. But there was a Madden that I only used the Eagles because I loved their running back. It was back in the day.
Brian Westbrook.
Yes. Loved Brian Westbrook. I don't know why. Have no idea. But Brian Westbrook was my guy. Man, 13 was the last.
I think that was the beginning of the end. I think 12 was the last good one. 13 that's when they first brought in the fire, the Ignite engine. That's when it started going downhill. When it was just what it was before, back pre-12, 12 and before that.
See, like I was strictly playing like play now back in those days. So like for me, those like every year, I made my parents waste so much money on Madden. Now that I look back and think of it, because like I made them buy the new Madden for me every year. I literally only played play now. I could have played the exact same game every single. There was no point in me getting a new Madden every year.
It's just that feel when you get something new and especially you got it and nobody else has it, but then when all your friends get it, it's like a Christmas party.
CJ, I almost got emotional today. Almost. I saw a video of this little kid on TikTok, right? And he got his first Fortnite solo victory.
Wow.
And he was so happy in tears, he was so happy. And I said, you know what, bud? Keep that feeling, because it's never going to be the same in a few years. Because let me tell you something. I remember getting my first Fortnite dub. Now, I mean, I was also about 16, so I wasn't going to cry about it. But the rush you get from winning when a new game comes out, and then like a year later, you just winning, and it just doesn't feel the same. I almost wanted to comment. Keep those emotions, kid. It'll never be the same.
Yeah, savor that moment. He probably definitely, hopefully he does. Yeah, nowadays, Fortnite dubs are like championships for people like us, for little kids. So shout out to little homie.
I have the strongest feeling that like the biggest flex in 4th to 5th, like 6th grade classrooms is like, I got 95 solo wins. What are you doing? I can see the like our lunch table arguments. Us being the way we are, probably some sports arguments.
Exactly.
I got a feeling that those kids are pulling up to the lunchroom like, I got another 2 solo victories last night. You're trash, kid. You're trash.
I can see it now, bro. I can see it now. We got some other comments in here. We got, can't wait for NCAA to drop. Yeah, finally, EA again being cheap, not paying the college players. So now that they got the NIL deal, now they're like, oh, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back now because they're paying the players
I thought
cheap as hell.
The names were never in the game anyway, though.
Yeah, but somebody, I forgot his name, but maybe Corey knows because I think it was a basketball player and a football player. They sued the NCAA, the EA. They sued EA and NCAA for putting them in the game and had their number but not their name, and they wanted to get compensated for it. So ever since that, EA was like, all right, we're not going to make any more games because we don't want to pay these guys some cheap stuff. So I'm glad it's coming back. It was definitely one of the best series EA had.
There you go.
O'Bannon Brothers, yeah, exactly. They
literally would have never known that.
Use of likeness, exactly. Now NIL's in the fold, so it's they get the green light to make the game again. Road to Glory is one of the best modes in a sports game.
They're bringing that back too. I saw that
game period. Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, that was
bringing back Road to Glory and Dynasty.
Yep, Dynasty. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it should be good. It should be a good series. I'm glad it's coming back. I remember playing 14, 12, 13 were really good. So yeah, I can't wait for that one to come back. Let's see what Corey has some other comments in here. I used to stand in line at Best Buy and Walmart all night. Yeah, those were the times.
I was always too young. I was always too young to do it.
Man, those midnight releases.
Yeah, like I never had to I never really did that. Like I do remember though, like MW2 games like that. My oldest brother would go in line and wait. And I remember, I would wait up at night and be like, hey, let me get a little sneak peek at the game. Actually, I think, what was the first Call of Duty I played? It honestly might have been Modern Warfare 2. What was that, 07, 09?
Modern Warfare 2009, yeah.
That might have been the first one I ever played. And the only reason I got
one to start at.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
And the only reason I got an Xbox account was because I used to go on my brother's Xbox account, before they would wake up, and I would play, and I would, suck and ruin their KD, and they would get mad at me. So I got my own account. That is how I started playing Xbox.
MW2 is a classic. Glad they're, kind of bringing it back. It's not really the same game, but
if they mess up MW2, bro, I'm done with COD forever.
Yeah, that'd be a bad look because Vanguard was terrible. So, but yeah, Madden. Got to go pick up March Madness 01 to 2005 and play with your boy. Is it online?
I've never even heard of that.
I don't think the server's still up. That'd be crazy. But yeah, I'm actually in the process of getting some of those old consoles that I used to have. PS2, had the GameCube, just bringing those games back, man. I'm just start collecting them, bro. Definitely a nostalgic feel. Especially because that's when these developers, that's when they really cared about making the game. It just wasn't about transactions. Exactly, getting the money off transactions like Madden Ultimate Team, like FUT, like My Team. So it was definitely a great time being young, playing those games, all those game modes used to run. So I can't wait to definitely collect those and get it back. I got Madden 11. Actually, hold on. Let me see. I'm about to show the people.
What was the Madden? I can't remember. It was. Oh, I think it was. It might have been. No, let me look it up real quick. Madden 09, when they brought the rewind back, or they put the rewind in the game. Let me tell you, my little 9-year-old self used to abuse Madden 09's rewind. Oh yeah, 11 with Breeze on it. This was a good one, man. This was a really good one. With Breeze, 12, Peyton Hillis, it was okay. But this was one of the great ones, for sure. You know what? I remember getting Madden 09 because I weirdly enough got it on Halloween. And I don't know why, but I remember it vividly because my nan gave it to me. My nan got it for me. I went to her house Halloween. And I got Madden 09. I remember playing it. And that's when they, like I said, they put the rewind in it. So you used to have a bad play and just rewind. I used to go 50 for 50 with 400 yards, 6 touchdowns. have 25 picks on the defense because let me tell you, I had one incompletion. Rewind. Just saying. Dolphins? Listen.
Dolphins, your rating was good, brother.
Yeah, we should probably get in. Listen, we should probably get in everything. But before we go to the AFC East, I have to do the civic duty of asking about Hard Knocks because CJ, one episode in, I'm locked in.
I'm locked
like
in.
I said, usually I'm kind of back and forth. Like I didn't finish the Colts Hard Knocks last year. I think I watched the Cowboy one last year, but I wasn't really locked in. They were kind of boring. And let me tell you something, CJ. From moment one of Dan Campbell walking down that hallway into the meeting room and giving that speech, I'm in. He had me. And let me tell you, he's talking about, you just got to trust me. You just got to trust me. People talk about the light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it's a freight train. And I said, okay, Dan, Motor City, Dan Campbell.
It'll be a great story if he's really, the guy to turn that franchise around, man.
CJ, can I tell you something? I'm being serious right now. And listen,
movie type stuff.
This is recency bias. This is, I watch Pat McAfee a lot now. They love Dan Campbell. I don't think I'm rooting for one head coach more in the NFL right now. There's nothing I want more than for this guy to be successful. He is the perfect Detroit head coach. His introductory press conference last year is biting kneecaps. Now he's talking about the light at the end of the tunnel isn't light, it's a freight train. Yeah, I'm there. And then you go to the offensive and defensive coordinator, which I can't remember the name. I should. Talking crap to each other. Going back and forth when one thing would go their way, one thing would go the other way. There was a point where the defense was playing real well, so the offensive coordinator not saying anything. The offense makes one play. You think I forgot about you? You think I forgot about you? I said, I love it. They went to the Aiden Hutchinson thing a little bit. They, I watched, like I said, I was watching McAfee. They had the people on who produce the NFL film stuff and do the Hard Knocks. Yeah, they said
I saw that in the recommended. I didn't watch it, but
It's pretty good. I will say, for all the stupid stuff Pat does, he conducts an interview pretty well. He gets he gets information out of people, but still keeps it like, I'm Pat McAfee. This is not going to be serious. But and he said that they were going to jump into Jared Goff again because you remember, usually Hard Knocks picks a couple stories and they kind of follow that. They usually give you the star player. On a person who's trying to make the team, and then something else. Well, the last time Jared Goff was on Hard Knocks because the Rams did it, and I think that was the year they were coming off a Super Bowl or something like that. So they technically have talked to Goff before, but he's in a different world now. So they said they were going to jump into Jared Goff a little bit. Like I said, they're going to follow Hutchinson around. And obviously, as weird as it is, I think the main story of this team and what people really like to see is Dan Campbell.
Yeah, he brings a lot of energy. And I did see that speech that he had with the team. And again, if he could be that guy to turn this team around, again, that'd be a beautiful thing. I know he had some. I think he was an offensive coordinator. Or it might have been a tight ends coach.
I think he started out as the tight ends coach.
Yeah, tight ends coach.
When he first got into coaching.
Yeah, with the Saints.
Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. Let me look him up.
Yeah, it might have been with the Saints or the Dolphins, but he brings a lot of energy. And you need a coach like that. And they're a young team. They're a young team. Yeah, what you got?
So he interned with the Dolphins in the 2010 season, became their tight ends coach from 11 to 15, and then in 15 was their interim head coach.
That's right.
16 to 2020, he goes to the Saints as the assistant head coach and tight ends coach, and then obviously got the Lions job in 2021.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so this is his time, and you go to the Lions, this is where coaches go to fail just because of recent history. We got We got Ray here again saying it's the owner's lines. They never keep talent or surround them with talent. And that's very true. That's very true in years past. No question about it. I think this year, years going forward, I think they drafted pretty well. I think they drafted well. Jameson Williams was a good pick. When he gets healthy, he's going to be really good. TJ Hawkinson was a really good pick as well. Swift, Williams as the backup running back. You just talked about Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell on that offensive line. So they have a lot of young talent. And you're right. It's about keeping that talent. And it's going to come down to Goff too. It's going to come down to Jared Goff. What does he want to be? Does he want to be a number one guy that just fizzled out and had, a couple solid years here and there and just ends up just being a backup? Or does he want to, make a transition and make a second act in his career and maybe be a franchise guy for this team? We'll see. Only time will tell. They got Amon St. Brown. They got DJ Chark. So they have a lot of speed on that outside. And they also got some guys that even if they're not down the field throws, which Goff is not great at, those guys can get yards after the catch off of, short to intermediate type routes. So I think they look good. They look good, man. Even people using them all Madden now. That seems to be a team that people are interested. Yeah. So I think that just a couple more years, they're going to be really solid. And again, I talked about this last week. That division is definitely there to be had after Green Bay. Rodgers' shelf life as in the NFL is probably 2 years max. Oh yeah. So if they win a Super Bowl, he's probably done. He'll probably retire, go right off in the sunset. So yeah, two years max, and then from there it's definitely free game. Bears in a rebuild, Vikings, they have a good offense, defense still questionable, rookie head coach, so they have a lot of questions as well. And so I think
still Mitch Cousins, so
Yeah, exactly. Cousins still there. So if they put the right pieces together, I think that team could be really good. If a couple of those young guys that they have become superstars early, they're still on rookie contract deals, they can make an impact quickly. We'll see, man. Definitely excited for them. Definitely room for that city. They've seen a lot of failure.
I was gonna say, even when the Browns were 0-16, and then they were 1-15 and then 0-16, I can remember people being like, "Oh yeah, it'd be cool to see, the Browns win a game." I feel like people are actively rooting for the Lions. Obviously, you have your main team, of course, whatever, but besides that, I feel like I've never seen where people are genuinely rooting for another team just because of I guess it's probably because of the failure, but a lot of it is Dan Campbell too. I keep saying Dan Campbell, but he's kind of just I don't know the word I'm looking for here. He grabs your attention a little bit.
He's captivating. Yeah, he's definitely.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. I'm just too stupid to know what it is. But I feel like people even outside of Detroit are come on, like last year when the Browns won their first game, it was trending on Twitter. It was I'm pretty sure
the Lions
or the Lions. Sorry, they did it was trending. I remember it. They did it was trending.
Maybe the Vikings, Twitter.
Right? It might have been, yeah.
Because they had some close games. Ray right here also. Yeah, they had some close games. I remember. I think Tucker hit the 66-yarder. Oh. I was like, oh my God,
then you never think you're gonna win.
Yeah, I was like, man. And I think Goff went down at a game-winning drive against Minnesota. I remember that exactly. Yeah, I remember that vividly, just because again, it was getting rough. It was getting rough for those guys.
They were. Let's see. They were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then they got the tie. Remember with the Steelers in that disgustingly bad game.
Yep.
And then, yeah, they beat the Vikings on December 5th, 29-27.
It's almost 3 months of L's and a tie.
Bro, they lost to the Seahawks last year, 51-29.
It's unacceptable.
51-29 against the Seahawks. Everybody was rooting for them, though. I mean, I don't know. And Hard Knocks, listen, I hope everybody is going to – I can say this because I know loyal listeners and everybody's going to sit here and watch this amazing show that we're going to put on. Hard Knocks is the newest episode is out in, 34 minutes? CJ, I'm going to tell you what. After we end the show, I'm going to go watch Hard Knocks.
Yeah, same.
So,
Definitely see episode 2. I think they had a close game against the Falcons in the preseason.
I think they lost on the last play of the game.
Yeah, they did. They lost on the last play of the game, but it was good to see DeAndre Swift out there. He battled with some injuries last year. He looked pretty healthy, had a touchdown. So, just got to keep building. No one's expecting them to be Super Bowl contenders, playoff contenders, but you got to build off things. You got to have years where like, okay, this year we had this record. Next year, let's try to strive for 7, 8 wins, and then the following year, let's try to get in the dance.
All right. Well, with that being said, we can now jump into the AFC East as regularly scheduled programming. And listen, we're going to start at the bottom, at least in our eyes. And start off with the New York Jets. Now, listen, CJ, me and you, and maybe some of the people in here, I don't know where everybody's located at, but we've seen more Jet games and Giant games, for that matter, than we've ever wanted to watch in our entire lives. Now, one of those reasons being we're Patriot fans, so we see him play at least twice a year. Second reason, we're obviously in New York. But, last year was bad. I will say the one thing I don't like, and I see this by Colin Cowherd a lot, which, doesn't say much. But
right.
Everybody's like, oh, Salah's a defensive guy. It's obviously not going to work. Like, you know what team he took over? It's the Jets. Who's worked? Rex Ryan's been your best coach in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
So, this isn't going to work. That's not. Can the guy have a cup of coffee? Can he get a New York slice, $1 slice?
Shout out to Brothers Pizza, man. $1 slices.
Nice $1 slice. Can he get a bacon, egg, and cheese on the corner store? Let the guy at least get familiar with New York.
Exactly.
Before we're firing him. So
I'm right. Yeah.
So I want to see what the team is before I go crazy with this and that. But I will say, it's not off to a good start, CJ. It's not off to a good start, and it's that good old injury. Everything that people try and avoid. Listen, Zach Wilson throws an interception in the preseason game, so now you're already like, oh brother, we just saw Sam Darnold do this for the last 3 years, and then the next offensive time he's out there. There goes his knee. Now he did have surgery today, and the original diagnosis was right. I think they just had to clean out his meniscus or his knee, and his meniscus was fine. They didn't have to suture anything. I think that because then you have to wait for the sutures to heal. Then you got to rehab. That's usually a 6-week thing. I guess what they had to do is a 4-week thing. So I would assume he doesn't play opening day. You would have to imagine, which leaves you Joe Flacco, which this is where you can also be concerned. A lot of people were saying that Joe Flacco was running the offense in camp, and Zach Wilson, when he would go out there, it was struggling. So that's usually, not the best thing you want to hear, considering Joe Flacco hasn't been a starter in the league for what, CJ? 3 years? 4 years?
4 years. Yeah.
He hasn't been a starter in the league for 4 years. He's bounced around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't love to see that. Also, and then who's the wide receiver they drafted? Was it
Garrett Wilson?
It was. All right, so it was Garrett Wilson. He came out and said oh yeah, Flacco throws a more receiver friendly ball. So you can look into that a little bit, saying oh, Zach Wilson's not throwing a receiver friendly ball. Joe Flacco's throwing better. I don't look into that much because he was kind of saying he knows when to put velocity on it, when to not put velocity on it. I'm running a slant route, he takes a little bit off. I'm running a corner route, he puts a little bit more on. Those are things Zach Wilson is going to learn. And you got to remember, Zach Wilson did not play that much last year. So all those bad things happen. And then CJ today too, Mekhi Becton, who they drafted to be their star left tackle, got moved to right tackle. Now he's out for the season on IR because of a knee injury. So, you got people doubting Salah. No, I don't think many people in New York believe in Zach Wilson. That's kind of also a New York thing. It's kind of we wait until you actually do something to actually put faith in you. And and then you got your wide receiver saying the backup quarterback is throwing better footballs. It's a little bit of a mess here, CJ. So listen. They went what is it 4-13 last year? They did sign. Corey's right. They did sign a veteran to replace Becton. I believe it was. Oh man, he was on the Texans. No, he was on. Was it Brown? Dwayne Brown?
Dwayne Brown.
I want to say that's who it was.
Okay.
To replace Becton. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot, and they went 4-13 last year, CJ, and I don't have their schedule in front. Actually, is that their schedule right there? Or is
yes,
that last
it
year?
is. Nope. Yeah, this is their schedule. I'm gonna scroll down right here.
It was all right. See, thank you very much. It was Dwayne Brown. Appreciate that. I mean, CJ, let me tell you something here. I'm not seeing a lot of victories on that schedule. I mean, I'll let you. How about this, CJ? You can get to your points, obviously, because I just talk forever. You can always tell me to shut up, by the way, and then we can always play the ever famous and I think very entertaining win loss win game with the Jets.
You made a lot of great points. It was definitely a scare on Friday for the Jets with Zach Wilson. Really, a lot of people thought it was the ACL. Glad it wasn't the ACL. That would
who didn't think it was an ACL though, CJ?
Who?
Our guy D-Pad, baby, Unwrapped Sports Network. Our
Sure.
Unwrapped doctor. Make sure you go follow him. He's gonna be on NFL injuries all year. D-Pack, listen, he called out some other people on there saying it wasn't an ACL. I saw some people getting a little upset with him, talking about, oh, you know what? When you're right, you're right.
Shout out D-Pack, man. He's doing a great job. Definitely got to have him on the show very soon, especially with us covering NFL. He does a lot of work with the NFL, not just NFL, but all sports. But yeah, glad it wasn't anything serious, like a career-ending injury like the ACL, and it would have been. Shout out Sam. It would have been.
You're doing well, brother.
It definitely would have been tough. The Joe Flacco thing, I understand why you would hope Joe Flacco would have some more touch on his footballs. He's a seasoned vet. He's won a Super Bowl MVP. He's been on some really good teams throughout his career. This is his second stint now with the Jets. He was there previously and then came back. So, and you need a solid veteran behind a young quarterback. Teach you some things, and I think that's a really good backup to have because he's had a lot of success in this league. Will that result to a lot of wins? No. I know Robert Salah came out earlier and he said he feels like Joe Flacco could be a starter on a team. I guess he's definitely showing love to his guy, but I would disagree there. I think we've kind of seen him already in his time as being a starter at this point in his career. But they drafted Sauce Gardner, they drafted Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Then they got Jermaine Johnson. So they had 3 first-round picks, and I think they had a pretty good draft. A lot of people had them winning the draft based on the talent that they acquired. 2 defensive players and a stud outside guy. Elijah Moore is a guy that I think we could see make a big jump in his second year. Breece Hall out of Iowa State, running back, another guy that they drafted in the second round that could also make an impact. So, and I believe they picked up CJ Uzomah.
Yeah, they did.
From Cincinnati, a really solid tight end. That's a quarterback's best friend, a tight end, and I think that's a good pickup. So I like what they've done. And Corey talked about their defensive line, which has Quinnen Williams and some other guys as well. I think Carl Lawson is coming back off the Achilles tear. So I mean, again, it's not. And I don't think they're going to win a lot of games, but you have to. You can't look at this team like that because you have to look at this team at they're a rebuilding team. I believe this is the second draft class that Joe Douglas GM has been able to have control over now.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I think because he drafted Zach Wilson last year. So yeah, this is his second stint now in trying to build this team. And I like the young guys that he acquired. Hopefully those guys can make an impact right away as early as they are. Breece Hall, yep, we just talked about that. Yes, yep, stud, really, really good back. And they're going to run the football. I know you talked about Colin Cowherd coming out and critiquing Robert Salah as defensive-minded head coach, but Mike LaFleur came from the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur's younger brother. He's supposed to be this, again, he's supposed to be this guru. All these guys are gurus, and everybody's a boy genius. Until it's time to actually call the plays and make things happen. We gotta see how that plays out. Obviously, if you don't have your number one guy on the center, you got to change some things up. I think they want to run the football. They want to be physical at the point of attack. I don't think whether it was Wilson or Flacco under center, you don't want to have those guys throw the ball 40, 50 times to win you a game. You want to control the clock, play defense, and honestly, that's the way you win. That's the way you win games. Of course, you need a quarterback to take you to that next level. But more times than not, this is what teams want to do. They want to run the football. And they want to play defense, and that's the identity of Robert Saleh, and honestly, that's the identity of Mike LaFleur, the offensive coordinator too. He's coming from that West Coast type offense where they run the football, zone runs, zone schemes, stretches, and things of that nature. So they're young. For the Jets, you just really got to see that there's some type of progress that they're making steps towards success, playing in some close games. Maybe going up against some of these teams in the division where it's not a blowout. They're competitive. They're showing some fight, giving the people a reason for them to root for the following year, in hopes that they become better.
That's the thing that I look at too. It's like you can't take a step back, and I think the difficult thing with that too is though, and I'm going to contradict myself here, but saying you can't take a step back, like you can't take a step back, but then you also look at the schedule. And it's like, damn, how am I not supposed to? Like, I think that you accidentally win some games in the NFL. Like last year, we kicked off the show talking about the Lions, right? They beat the Cardinals last year, like 29-10. Like, why was that supposed to happen? It wasn't. So I think you accidentally win some games in the NFL.
Any given Sunday, man.
Exactly. But and listen, I kind of want to go through the schedule here because CJ, you lose opening week. I'm sorry. Cleveland, listen, I know Deshaun's not playing. I know. Cleveland's good enough to beat the Jets. Let's be real here. I mean, they're going to run the ball with Chubb and the Hunt, even although Hunt, does say you want to be traded. And then the Browns came out and said, yeah, you want to be traded? We're fining you $50,000 a day until you show up. So shut up. Cincinnati, yeah,
they could use that money than what they gave Deshaun. So they need that money. They need some of that bread back.
Not wrong. You're not wrong. Cincinnati, I don't have faith in that. So what? You're 0-3 now. Pittsburgh. Listen, should you beat Pittsburgh? Probably not. Can you beat Pittsburgh? Yes, but I think their defense is going to be great. Like TJ Watt is a man.
TJ Watt, Cam Hayward,
you talk about a man amongst boys. TJ Watt last year, it wasn't even close. Like I remember the end of the year, like, oh, who should be, the defensive player of the year? Oh, what are you talking about? You didn't see him play? So listen, I'm sorry, I got 0-4. Miami, I think they're much better this year than they were last year. I'll give them another loss. You're 0-6. Green Bay, no. Denver, no. So what? Now you're, what is that, 0-8?
Yeah.
I'm not giving us a loss against the Jets. You're 0-9. You are 0-9.
Yeah, that New England, Buffalo, New England.
Yeah, and then you're not beating the Bills. Actually, no, I think their bye week is in week 10. So technically, the Bills game, they're 0-9.
Yeah,
so you're 0-9 going in the bye week, and I'll be honest with you, it's because you're playing very good teams. Like, I understand the Jets aren't a very good team, and like you can't, and you want to see progress, but also it's, bro, you see who they're playing. Like sometimes you're just not good enough.
Of course, there's no way they're going 0-9.
I mean, who are they beating?
I could see them. I can see two. I can see Pittsburgh and Miami. I would say maybe Cleveland and Pittsburgh. But for me, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's not for this team. It shouldn't be wins and losses. It should be about how you play for a team like this. For a rebuilding team, a young team, it should be how they play. Is their play much significantly better than what it was last year? Them getting blown out by us 54-13, whatever it was. True. Some other blowouts throughout the season. If they could stay competitive and be in some of these games, show some fight maybe in the first half, and then in the second half, of course, the team that's more talented, has more structure, is going to ultimately get the W when it's time. So that's what I want to see from the Jets. I know they're not going to win a lot of football games. They went 4-13 last year. I can maybe see the same amount, maybe 5-6, but in those losses, or in the few wins that they do get, it's just a style of play. Are those guys playing for Robert Salah? Are those guys trying to execute as much as possible for the offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur? That's what I want to see, because, like you just talked about, they're not as talented as these teams that we're looking at on the schedule that they have to go up against on each Sunday.
See, here's my problem, though. And I agree with you that it shouldn't be wins and losses in a way. But how many times have we seen coaches fired because they're not winning games? Like, it's not the same anymore. Like, I feel like coaches get a 5-year contract, and then all of a sudden 2 years later they're fired because they didn't win in the first 2 years. Like, owners and even fans as well, like, just don't have the patience anymore to be like, okay, listen, there's no more 5-year plans. Like, I think, and here's the other thing. I think the good teams have 5-year plans. I think, I think the Rams had a 5-year plan when they brought in McVay. I think, the Steelers. Yeah,
but it was getting to a point where it was like, all right, I think McVay was like, I need a quarterback in here. Like, Goff's good, but I can't keep.
But even then, they got to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. So, like, I think they had a 5-year. I think the Steelers have a 5-year plan after Big Ben left. I think all these very historic and, like, good teams usually have a 5-year plan. CJ, the Jets and Giants haven't had a 5-year plan maybe in the history of their franchise.
Well, when the three factors in building a successful team don't coincide and aren't in place, you're going to struggle. When the front office doesn't work, hasn't been able to draft talent, when you don't have the quarterback, and when you don't have the right head coach, when those three pillars are falling, you're going to get what you've gotten from the Jets and the Giants over the last decade or so. So but for this team specifically, again, it's just about what they look like, because the wins and losses, you can't. This schedule is nasty. It's a nasty schedule, man. They definitely are going to struggle in terms of the wins and losses, but just how they play. Are there young talent? Are they making plays, making splashes? Are some of these young guys like could be in potential offensive, defensive rookie of the year discussions? Like, you want to see just some type of hope moving forward for this team. Is when Zach Wilson gets back, when he's healthy, is he playing well? Is he making the right reads? Is he protected?
That's what you have to figure out most this year, I think. I think you have to figure out the most if Zach Wilson's a player. Because, and listen,
got some talent, man. They got some talent. They got some talent around them.
And listen, I just talked about nobody has a 5-year plan anymore. But listen, Zach was not great last year. He's hurt again to start this year. He was hurt last year. So if this year you go 3 and whatever, 3 and 15 now?
3 and 14.
14? Okay. Yeah, you're right. 3 and 14. Do you go and be like, listen, might have to draft a quarterback again? Because you remember the Giants missed out on quarterbacks like, Justin Herbert, because they were still giving Daniel Jones a chance. Like, what do you do now?
Yeah, but for the Giants specifically, it was 1 year after. It was literally like Daniel Jones' rookie season, and then Justin Herbert got drafted the next year. So it's like you want to replace him already. It was probably too soon. That's probably how they saw it. They could have did the Cardinals, but Herbert coming out wasn't as highly touted as Kyler was. So it was a little different. I mean, he was the year before his junior year. Yeah, he was like, yo, number 1 pick, book it, top 3. but then he struggled a little bit, and some people had some questions. That's why he fell to 6. He should have been. He could have easily been a number 2 pick or number 1 pick. Him and Burr. I mean, and ultimately ended up being. He was the 3rd quarterback taken. Like, think about that.
But I also wonder too if. So, like, what if you go into this draft and I mean, listen, if the Jets are going 3 and 14, they probably have the 3rd, 2nd, pick, because I think the Falcons and Seattle are vying for number 1. If you look at Zach Wilson and you're like, okay, when we drafted him, we had him graded at an 84. He's played a couple years. He hasn't really been that great. This 2nd overall quarterback, because listen, both of those teams need a quarterback. So say you'll have the 3rd best chance at a quarterback. And your third ranked quarterback coming out in this draft is rated a 92. Do you say we gave Zach 2 years?
Yeah, this year is key. Last year, you got to wash it away just because, like we just talked about, the team was so ass. Like, the team was so trash. But if he's playing well in these games and they lose, you're like, okay, well, we got a guy. We got a guy here. But if he's hurt, he's not healthy, we already see he's not going to start at the beginning of the season. You're saying that's a 4-week injury? Probably going to extend it to 6 because you don't want to rush him back so he won't get hurt again.
True.
So we're probably looking at a 6-7 week type thing. He'll probably play week 2 or week 3 in the season. So I think if he's playing well and they're not winning, I think that would give Joe Douglas, Robert Salah, the Johnsons some type of hope and like, okay, let's give him 1 more year. I see, Corey, you have to give him at least 3 years. That seems to be what it is now. It's not like you said, it's not like what it used to be, where it used to be like 5 years. These young guys are coming in now. They're playing in I was about to say AAU, but these 7-on-7s, Elite 11s, all these quarterback camps, they're getting a lot of reps now, something that we really didn't see 20 years ago. Yeah. So these young quarterbacks are much more ready to play. So their shelf life in the NFL is going to be shorter because there's a lot of quarterbacks out in these colleges and these high schools right now. There's only but 32 teams. So somebody's not gonna make it. It's just the nature of the beast. Somebody's not gonna make it. So I think you got if he plays solid, if he stays on the field and he's playing well, I think they give him that year. But if one of these young guys like Bryce, like CJ Stroud, maybe somebody else comes in the fold throughout the college season, we see it all the time. Yeah, I'm having that discussion. You can't just definitively say, oh, no, we're not going to look at another quarterback and just go with Zach Wilson in year 3. And he's not healthy and he's not playing well just because we had a 3-year plan. I mean, you got if those first 2 years before the 3rd year is not what you expected it to be, yeah, you got to make some changes.
I don't disagree. I certainly don't disagree. I mean, listen, I got him 0-9 heading into their bye week, and then listen, even off a bye, you're not beating. I don't think you're beating us. So that's 0-10. I think Chicago is very winnable. I think Jacksonville is very winnable. Detroit, you can win. Seattle, I would hope you win. So, I mean, because, like, listen, we talk about winnable games. That's for, like, good teams. I don't think the Jets ever have winnable games because they're not a good team. So, that's why I push back on, like, Cleveland's winnable and Pittsburgh and Miami are winnable. Like, those teams are much better in my eyes. Like, yeah, Pittsburgh has, Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky went to the playoffs once. Zach Wilson's hurt again. Like, right. I mean, at least there's something. So, I don't know. I'm interested. I mean, listen, I, in a weird way, hope that they kind of do well, except against the Patriots, because, listen, I'm forced to watch Jet games on TV sometimes. So I would love for the Jets to actually be good. So it's not torture. It's just more like, I don't really like it. We talk about that like there are 5 good teams. I mean, like I said, I agree that winnable would be Jacksonville, Seattle, Lions, and Cleveland. Not Cleveland. Chicago. Because all 5 of those teams, if you include the Jets, are terrible. I mean, we're gonna. I mean, we don't really know anything about any of these teams. I mean, listen, is that true? Is that true? Yeah, but like, what we think the Jets, Chicago, Jacksonville, and Seattle are going to be good all of a sudden?
I don't see it, brother. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and if you got a crystal ball and you can see that, good on you.
Unless the Falcons, somehow get Oregon Mariota.
Yeah, I mean,
then or Desmond Ritter comes in, and there's a guy.
He looks 40, by the way.
Yeah, he does. He looks old, but if he could come in and be special, Houston Texans won far more games last year than anyone thought. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then they got rid of the coach and they brought in another head coach.
Yes, they did.
So now it's just a whole. But you're right. Like we don't know, and that's why I said at the top of when we start talking about the teams, I say any given Sunday because any team can be had if you sleep. If you lack on any side of the field, three phases, if you lack on three type of phases of football, you can lose. You can lose. Special teams not on one day. That's it.
For the Packers, baby.
That's a fact.
No NFC Championship game for you.
Yep. They had all pros on both sides of the field on the offense and defense, but that last phase last in the league, and that's why ultimately they took that out.
Well, we move on. We move over to the Miami Dolphins, I believe, CJ.
Quando was good, brother.
What's going on, guy?
They were cheeks. Texans were cheeks.
We move on to the Dolphins. Well, a nice little 9-8 record. What did they win? Like 8 games in a row or something?
I think it was 7. They lost 7 in a row and then won and then won 7. It was a weird year.
Yeah, they were an interesting team. They were certainly interesting. I mean, obviously, look at them. The big thing this year is you get Tyreek Hill, which some people would say that's pretty decent. So you get Tyreek Hill, you pair him up with Jalen Waddle.
Pretty decent. Whoever says that, I mean,
don't worry, there's a little sarcasm, CJ. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm on the other screen, so I couldn't see your face.
Yeah, no. Just a tad. No, don't worry. I haven't. I'm not losing my mind yet. But you get Hill, you get Jalen, or you have Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki's there. This is you want
running backs.
Yeah, I mean you got 95 different running backs on that team.
Yeah.
And listen, we were just talking about Zach Wilson. Maybe what happens if he has a bad year. Tua, you have a bad. I think if Tua has a mid-year, it's over. You got to see like 30 and 16, 17 out of Tua this year. Have to minimum.
Yeah. I'm with you there. With those weapons, yes.
All of those weapons, and you don't listen. And here's my thing too. I've said it many times. I think they're better than the Pats, so I would have them in second. Like, if you don't come in second, you that's a failure. You can't go out and get Tyreek Hill, pair him up with Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, like you said, 95 running backs, and not be a good team. Like,
I'm with you, man. Yep. So Mike Gesicki, most overrated player ever. Yeah, I had him in fantasy last year. He was definitely underwhelming. Probably one of the most underwhelming pickups I had. Hopefully this year with Mike Daniels seeing Kittle for the last few seasons.
Year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he struggled, but in the games he played, he wasn't very good. So again, Mike McDaniel being the guy now, being the play caller, he saw Kittle for 4 years. So hopefully he could scheme some things up and try to make Gesicki a viable tight end in this league, because last year was
I just looked
less than mid.
He had 73 for 780 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean it's okay, but it's not.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's
2 touchdowns, not enough.
Yeah, no, 2 touchdowns as a tight end. I mean, what are we talking about here? But yeah, I mean, you want to scroll down a little bit, CJ? Let me see their schedule.
Yeah, let's do it.
Man, AFC. What does the AFC East play this year? The AFC North and then
NFC North.
Oh, NFC and it. Okay.
Yeah, both. Yep, both. Yeah.
Man, does that really just not help things? Because I mean, listen, we struggle in Miami. So, but I will say, Bill, I've come around in this thinking. I think for most of the year, I've had the Patriots losing opening week. But Bill against a rookie head coach, that's very good odds. But I think 2 was 4-0 against the Patriots or something like that. So I'm a little up in the air here. I'll leave that to be decided. But away at Baltimore, L. I would say at your home against Buffalo, that's still an L. Cincinnati, listen, I love what Cincinnati did on that offensive line. Let me tell you something. Love what they did. So I'm giving you an L. You got to beat the Jets. You got to beat Minnesota. You got to beat Pittsburgh. You got to beat Detroit. Have to beat Chicago. You should beat Cleveland. Because listen, by the way, I know it's 6 weeks for Watson. Roger Goodell came out and said that he thinks it should be a year. And I'll give you, CJ, yeah. I'll give you a little hint here. Give you a little hint. You know who appointed the judge for this the hearing that they did?
The NFL, yeah, Roger Goodell.
Yeah, Roger Goodell did. So
it's just trying to save face. But the thing is, like the six games is that's the rule under the CBA for that type of misconduct. So if he really felt like it should have been a year or 12 games, they would have put that in the CBA. So just it's
I got a little hint here that I think Deshaun's gone for the year. Now, may he appeal it? Possibly, but it's also not very smart business because you got to remember, CJ, he's only making like $1 million this year. If he appeals this and it gets pushed to the next year somehow, that's when he starts making big boy money. So does he just kind of accept it, or like does he fight it up until the point of next season and be like, okay, never mind?
No, he should appeal it. Remember, he missed all. He's going to miss 2 years in a row. I mean, listen, he's still young, but defenses get better.
Oh no, 2 years.
Defenses get faster. Defenders get faster, stronger, smarter. And he's talented. He's talented, but that's a lot of time missed, man. And you go into a brand new team, different chemistry, and you got to be the CEO of the franchise. So yeah, I would appeal that. He has to. I mean, NFLPA will appeal it. I mean, by themselves, just because that's their identity, support the player. So,
but listen, I'm going off the notion that I don't think he's going to be there. So I think you should beat Cleveland. You got to beat Houston. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of San Francisco. I know it's an away game, but like
that should be a good game. Mike McDaniel going up against his former team.
True. I mean, but hey, I'll give him a W in San Francisco. You lose to the Chargers because I think the Chargers are good. You lose to Buffalo again. You lose to Green Bay. I think we at least split with the Dolphins this year, hopefully. And listen, usually we got to go to them late in the year. Now they're coming to us late in the year. So maybe, they're used to that Miami weather. All of a sudden it's New Year's Day and it's 10 degrees in Foxborough. So how about this? I'll give them an L to start. No, I'll give them a win to start the season and an L here. And then I think you got to beat the Jets. That's what I probably just rattled off somewhere in the 10 win category. 11, 10 probably.
Right, yeah, around there. I think this team is very interesting. They have a lot of talent. Their defense is really underrated. They got some guys, Emmanuel Ogbah, Xavier Howard's one of the best corners in the NFL. Doesn't get talked about a lot. Byron Jones, easily a solid number 2 guy in that secondary. They got some good players. They don't have some guy. They got Christian Wilkins on that defensive line. They got some guys that you may not be household names or the most popular guys to a casual, but those guys make plays and they're really good. And then on offense, like we talked about the 95 running backs they have, Raheem Mostert, former Niner, so he knows the entire playbook, fast as hell. Just go back to that game against the Packers in the playoffs a few years ago. Sony Michel, former Patriot there now. Chase Edmonds, really solid scat back, third down type running back, can catch the ball out the backfield, can make passes and make completions much easier for Tua, where he could get yards after the catch with his speed. just wasn't able to stay healthy last year, but he was really good in his first year. We was able to get some consistency and productivity when he was in Arizona. So I like him. He's a really good player. Mike Gesicki, again, hopefully those seams should be wide open for him. They should be wide open because you have to put two safeties out there and cover either Jalen or Tyreek. You just have to. I mean, you have to come out and cover two shell. You have to. There's no other way to play that team. Even though Tua is not the best in terms of throwing the football down the field, you have to respect the speed. You have to.
Speed kills, baby.
Yeah. So they want to be. I like the way the team is built, and they want to be physical. They're kind of to me they're like a AFC version of San Fran, really, because they're kind of like but Tua's Garoppolo.
That's a great comparison you just made.
Yeah, that's what they look like to me, and they're gonna use Tyreek. I can see them using Tyreek. I can see Mike McDaniel using Tyreek like Debo, having him out the backfield a little bit on some jet sweeps, maybe some tosses, get on the outside. If they're physical, I believe they picked up Teron Armstead, former Saint, really solid offensive tackle. So they want to be physical at the point of attack, and then they want to beat you up on defense and get some turnovers. And they have one of the best guys at corner to do so. I believe he had 10 interceptions 2 years ago. Xavier Howard is very underrated. Doesn't get talked about a lot. But
very
he's
good.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. So this team is scary. It could be scary if Tua is accurate, making plays, and getting these guys the football on time, on target, so they could just go out there and play and get yards after the catch. They move down the field, methodical type football. No one's asking him to throw 65-yard bombs. That's just not his play style. But if he could be methodical, surgical down the field, get in the end zone and not get 3 points, this could be a very dangerous team. It could be a very dangerous team, especially with those two guys that they have. Jalen Waddle had an excellent rookie year, despite the really lack of any other talent around him to help him. He's got a lot of receptions, but now he should be able to get yards after the catch. He's going to be a number 2 guy. It's similar to what Philadelphia with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. It's like your second receiver is the guy that you drafted top 10 or top 11 for Tay in the draft. So, and they were expected to be your number 1s. So now they're number 2. So now they're going up against number 2 guys. Those should be definitely favorable matchups for Jalen Waddle. And Tyreek is an X factor, man. He's an X factor. I know Mahomes is not, Tua is not Patrick. We all know this. That's a given. But he's going to make you better. And he could take a 7-yard slant and go 70. We've seen it. We saw it in the playoffs. We've seen it his whole career. He could even play before he was a Pro Bowler in the kick return in special teams as well. So push come to shove, that could also be a factor. So he's a very dangerous player. You have to game plan for him every single Sunday throughout the week. How do we stop number 10? And if everybody else does their job, and again, I like their running back committee. It's really solid. It really is. So this is a scary team, man. It's a scary team. September 11th, when New England goes to Miami and face them, very, very nervous because if they're hitting on all cylinders with the talent that they have, it could definitely be an L for the Patriots, no doubt about
it. What do you got them at, huh? What's a win?
Yeah, I think I'm right. I mean, best case scenario is it should be around 10 games, 10-7. I mean, they went 8-9 and 9-8, and then last year. So I think 10-7 is the best case scenario. But if Tua's on his game, and the defense is underrated, they're really underrated. They were really good last year. They didn't get a lot of talk and get a lot of praise. Everybody was just focusing on Tua, but that the team around them that defense was really good. Now they got some offensive guys to complement that. So I could see 10-7. I really could. But also again, it's going to come down to intangibles for Mike McDaniel. Sure, you could call plays. That's probably easy for him at this stage of his career. But same thing I talked about with these other rookie head coaches that are coming in, Kevin O'Connell, Josh McDaniels having a second act. Can you be a leader of men? Can these guys follow you? Will they listen to you? It's not just calling the plays, do this play, and that's it. As you know, it's way more to football than just calling plays and just doing what needs to be done on the field. There's other factors. So if he could do that as well in terms of galvanizing the guys each and every week, game planning, make sure they're prepared as much as possible to where they believe in him to go out there and play and get the dub, they could be as great as they want to be because they have the type of talent, even in a stacked conference in the AFC.
It's bad to say because I'm a Patriot fan, but I'm excited to see them play. I'm excited to see them play. So
Two was a bum.
I did, yeah. I had that up for a little bit. You must have been on.
I'm on the Dolphins team. My bad. Yeah.
Nah, I was wait. I should have known because you didn't comment about it. I should have read it out loud. But yeah. I mean, listen. We talk about all these things, and it really does come down to the quarterback. Like the Dolphins go as Tua goes, and that's basically the same thing with every team. I mean, maybe besides. I mean, damn.
Every team. Every team. If you want to win a Super Bowl, it's going to come down to quarterback. Yeah, no question about it. Just talked about the Rams. They went from Goff to Stafford. That's going from winning the Super Bowl from losing to winning. So
Jameis Winston, the GOAT. I mean, as a lot of people say, there's levels to this.
No doubt. No doubt about it.
Listen, we're saving the Patriots for last.
Of course.
Because, that's our squad. So we move over to the Buffalo Bills.
Let's do it.
With a nice 11-6 record last year, obviously they came in first in the division, made it all the way to the what was the divisional game?
Yep.
Yeah. Damn, man, were those playoffs good last year? I mean,
it was. That divisional round was stacked, bro.
Well, what was the divisional round? It was
Bills,
Rams, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks. That was the Packers, 49ers.
Packers, 49ers, and the
Cincinnati
Titans.
And who?
And the Titans, yeah.
Never mind. That was a bad game. I don't remember that game.
It was close, though. It was close. Remember, the Titans were driving down the field, and then Tannehill threw a pick.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You're right.
Yeah, it was a close game. Mm-hmm. All those games were good.
Man, what a time. Last year was crazy.
It was.
I feel like
quarterback play again.
We probably say it every year because it's like the thing to say that like last year was the craziest year I ever saw, and we probably say that every year. But I feel like last year was the craziest year I ever saw.
Yeah, the playoffs was really good. It was. Super Bowl was solid too. Really good Super Bowl. Went right down to the wire. Game winning drive. Cup. Stafford the Cup. I mean it was pretty much that whole entire season. Stafford the Cup. So
Matt, we hit this in the beginning of the show. We both thought it was fantastic, which, by the way, this is perfect time to remind people. You thought it was incredible, too. Perfect time to remind people. If you did ever miss anything on this wonderful program, you can always go over to Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Look up the Hard Count, and bam, we're right there. So if you ever miss anything, make sure you go listen to the podcast. And not only listen to it, make sure you're subscribed to it.
Subscribe. Yep.
I was going to say, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you rate the pod. Listen, leave us a nice little comment on the podcast as well. All these things help us out, try to get us to the point that we're trying to get to. And, of course, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, too, if you're watching, make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube, too, Unwrap Sports, not only for us, but for everybody else that's making wonderful content with the Unwrap Sports Network. Make sure you go subscribe. You hit the bell so you get notifications when everybody is going live. I mean, listen, we cover everything here. We got baseball. We got football. We got sports talk in general. We got basketball. We got the UFC. Listen, we got card openings. So anything you want.
Got it all. Yeah.
Anything you want, we're doing it. So you might as well make sure you go and check everything out. So with that being said, I'll go back to the Bills. CJ, I mean.
See it right here. Predictive rank #1 in the world. So speaks for itself.
Listen, you're not gonna roll your eyes at me because I think you kind of understand where I'm coming from. But God, this team, I think they're gonna be so good, and it hurts me, obviously, because it's division rival, of course. But listen, I kind of said Josh Allen was gonna be good, so I root for him. Obviously, unless he's playing us. Don't get it twisted, people. I am a Patriot fan. I just like people too. So I root for the guy because I want to be proven right because I'm going to be real. That's all I really care about. But, man, I mean, you go out and you get Von Miller. You still have Stephon Diggs. Obviously, you got a perennial MVP candidate now in Josh Allen. You drafted what was it, Dalvin Cook's cousin, I believe?
His brother.
Okay.
Yep. James
Dalvin,
Cook.
you got Dalvin Cook's brother. You also got who the other running backs there? They still have
Devin Singletary.
Yes, they still got Singletary there. You should get back Tre'Davious White, right? That's his.
Yes. Yep. Tre'Davious White should be coming back.
And listen, they might have the best safety duo in the league.
Poyer and Hyde, yes.
I know. I do believe they both at one point were hurt in training camp, so I'm not sure when they'll be back. I don't think that it was anything crazy serious, but I do know that both of them had gone down, and it was almost at like the same time as well, or like a week apart. So that's something to look at. But I mean, this team is very, very good. Corey brings up a point here. Do you have any concerns with the offense with no Dable and a coach that loves zone running scheme that they basically gave up when Dable took over? Head coach loves running zone. I mean, listen, you lose your offensive coordinator. Obviously, I think it is concerning a tad bit, obviously, especially because Dable came in, and I think that's when Josh Allen took off. So you got to, look at that and hope that they can, be at the same spot that they were. But I think there's been so much improvement with Allen that I don't think just losing an offensive coordinator is just all of a sudden going to regress. I think there's a lot of talent on the team that I don't think the offense regresses to a crazy point where we're like, hey, what happened to this team? Now, might it take a couple weeks to be like, okay, we're actually playing NFL games now. Like, we didn't do that before. This cadence is different than it was before. Like, changing some things up. Yeah, I could see a little, stumble at the beginning, but I still have so much faith in this team. King James and Connie the Butcher now. Interesting. My Cougar Hunter went swimming in strains before the game and tore his ACL. JET Jets. Just endure the suffering. Listen, he didn't tear the ACL. Don't worry, Vic. Listen, it was just a little meniscus cleanup.
Yeah.
A little knee cleanup.
Thankfully. But to Corey's point, Ken Dorsey's there. He was the quarterback coach last year. Now he's the offensive coordinator. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Now, obviously, different day ball is obviously not in the headset anymore for Josh Allen, but Dorsey and Allen have a really good relationship. Pretty sure they sit down and game plan and look at things last year and the past couple years. So if Dorsey's smart, which I think he is, he's gonna sit down and speak with Allen about what plays that they like and how they envision this offense playing out.
Hey, I know you almost won the MVP last year, but let's change some things up here.
Yeah, he's not gonna change worlds for that offense. They're gonna keep it the same thing. Maybe run the football outside of Josh a little bit more. Now that you have a solid running back by committee. So when Josh does run, it's more of an element of surprise where it's not just expected, oh, okay, he's going to keep it here. And yeah, of course he can run for 20 yards and truck a guy, but that's still your franchise. You want to keep him upright in the pocket, clean for as long as possible. So yeah, Ken Dorsey is, it's going to be that OC and hopefully, I know he's not Daboll, of course not, but you have to. That's what they went with. It's a guy that Allen's obviously comfortable with, and I think Allen is great enough to where, even though like you said, even though they lost a guy like Daboll, who's good, he's still great to make those plays. He's still great enough to make those plays. He's
CJ, and here's my thing. Here's my other thing, real quick too. I think this is different than bringing somebody new in. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they didn't bring out like an outside person, and then the outside person came in and was like, "All right, we're not running the West Coast, we're running this instead." Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same playbook. But what Corey's saying is true, right? He's saying game planning, scheming up and preparation is obviously something that Daboll had an advantage of with working with Bill, working with Nick Saban. But he's gonna struggle. I mean, we're going to the NFC East, I'm sure, in a couple of weeks or so. He can scheme up whatever he wants. I mean, Darren Jones not Josh Allen, so that's going to be a struggle for him. So I think on the reverse side, if I'm Ken Dorsey, man, I'm definitely locking in and making sure my preparation is on point because that's what's expected from out of 17 and the rest of that offense. So yeah, I think it might be a struggle early, but like you said, I think they'll pick it up just because they're such a talented team.
Now, CJ, I think I know the answer to this question because I don't think anybody else is. You're not as high as them on them as I am. I would assume.
I mean,
right?
you got them going 15-2. I'm like, bro.
Wow, well, did I? Do I?
Yeah, remember we went through the USA Today predictions. You was like, yeah, I could see that. I'm like, come on.
I mean, hey,
I mean, listen, it's doable, but that's a lot of expectations. So, like, can they go? Can they be 4 wins better than what they were last year? Sure, of course, because they have a talented guy in the center and perennial, like you said, a future MVP, and Josh Allen. So it's very possible they could be 4 wins. But again, we just talked about how the offense might be a little different. In the beginning of the season, it might take some time. So you might take a couple L's where it's like, yo, I should have won that game. But you need to grow. You need to get things acclimated. That first month of the season for every team is a feeling out process because you don't practice like you used to practice, the type of practicing that you used to have 15, 20 years ago where those guys were actually hitting in practice. You're not doing that now. It's a lot of, soft walkthroughs pretty much. So you need a couple of those games from your offensive line, defensive line, everybody on the team to get acclimated. So I don't 15-2. I mean, you could put the bets in on my bookie and see what the odds.
Did I tell you about my 16 game week 1 14-cent parlay that I placed?
No, you did not.
Oh, you want to hear it?
Let's hear it, man. It's an NFL show.
I had 14 cents in my FanDuel account. So I said, you know what, CJ, I'm swinging for the fences. I put 14 cents down on a nice 16-game week 1 parlay that I have absolutely 0% chance of hitting, but that's fine. The payout, CJ, the payout, $896. I mean, why not? So listen, and we just talked about this is first of all, excellent first game of the season, by the way. NFL, I'll give you credit. You don't get a lot of credit sometimes. Rams, Bills to kick off the season, you're doing great. You're doing great.
You have to start it off with a banger, man.
And listen, I got the Rams money line in that game. I got the Rams winning that one. I took the Cincinnati Bengals spread -6.5 against the Steelers. I took the Eagles money line against the Lions. I took the Colts money line against the Texans. I took the Saints money line against the Falcons. I took the spread -6 for the Ravens against the Jets. Listen, CJ, I'm all in. I took the Pats money line, baby, against the Dolphins. And we are underdogs. I took
slight underdogs.
I took the Browns money line week 1 against the Panthers. I got the 49ers -6.5 against the Bears. I got the Commanders money line against the Jags. I got Raiders +4 against the Chargers. I think it would be a close game. I got the Titans money line against the Giants, Chiefs money line against the Cardinals, Packers money line against the Vikings, and -1.5. Oh, no, not and. I got the Bucks -1.5 against the Cowgirls, and to finish it all off, I got the Broncos -5.5 against the Seahawks.
All right. Hey, man. Good luck, brother.
Listen, CJ, let me tell you something. They got a cash
payout.
$8.96.
Okay.
For 14 cents.
16-legger. Yeah, good luck, bro. Hope you hit that.
Listen, bro. I could have won. The odds are technically 640,443. So if I had a spare $100 laying around, I would have done that. But I don't think I have that much faith in the 16-game parlay, by the way.
Yeah,
not too much. But let me tell you something, CJ. They got that cash out option.
Of course.
If the first 6 or 7 games somehow hit, because they're 1:00 games, if they all somehow finish at different times, but they hit, I'm cashing out faster than you can say anything in the world. I don't got the confidence to wait for all 16 games.
Nah, I don't blame you, bro.
Hell
no. That's too much anxiety.
Oh, I'll never forget. Week 1. No, it might have been week 1 or 2 a couple years ago. Had a 7-team parlay. Every game won, besides the Eagles, and they were winning 21-0 at halftime. And that was the game that lost it for me. I will never forget it. Makes me sick to my stomach to this day. Anyway, listen, back to the Bills.
Back to the Bills. We got Corey, another comment. The issue is McDermott used to get mad with the amount of with the amount that they passed last year with no day ball, would McDermott be more hands-on?
I mean, I think they could run the ball a little bit more. I think they should.
Yeah, I think they should. I definitely think they should run the ball a little bit more outside of Josh. It makes the most sense. Cook seems to be having a pretty good camp. Devin Singletary's solid. How many divisional games do they lose? I think they lose 2. Hopefully they split with us, and I think they split with Miami.
Okay, because all right, we can go through the schedule again. Well, I mean,
let's do it.
Like I said, I got a loss opening night to the Rams. I think the next 4 are wins. I got them beating the Saints, Jesus, the Titans, Dolphins, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. Listen, Kansas City away, 4:25, not prime time, but afternoon big game. I could see a loss there. So I'll say a loss. What? That's we're 4-2 at this point then. Home against the Green Bay. I gotta win. I mean, you're demolishing the Jets. You should beat the. I almost said the Twins. That's what it's baseball season. I almost said the Twins. You should beat the Vikings. I think you beat Cleveland. You have to beat Detroit. Listen, let's be hopeful here and say that we split, like you said, and we'll take the home game. You demolish the Jets again. Home in Miami, no shot. You win that one. You destroy Chicago. Cincinnati, that's a good one. A night game, and it's away. That's another one that's up in the air.
It's a good game, man. It should be a good game. Hopefully everybody's healthy and whatnot.
You got it, man. Fine, I'll give them a loss. Why not? And then I think, like I said, split with us. So I'll give them a win last game of the season.
So that's 13-4.
I mean, hey. Wow, Corey, you have them losing to the Baltimore. I would have never guessed.
That's a good game, man. That's a really good game. That's a really good game. Obviously, the Bills, they have Baltimore's number based off that divisional round 2 years ago, but it's a different team. Baltimore should be healthy. They got all their guys back. That's going to be a good game, man. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. Still concerned about the receivers over there, but I'm gonna be tuned into that one, no doubt. Yeah, this team is stacked, man. Again, I'm right there with Corey. Made some solid points about the run game. I would like them to see be a little bit more balanced. For me, Stephon Diggs.
You got Minnesota as a toss-up game?
Minnesota, they have the offense to keep up. They do have the offense to keep up. Defense, I don't really know. KC, Cleveland.
Cleveland is not a toss-up to me either. Like I said, I think he's gone for the year.
Oh, you should think he's gone? You're right. You just say that. I think he's gone for the year. I mean, if he's there, it's a game.
My toss-up games is probably the away game for the Pats, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. I like Green Bay should be a toss-up game, but I'm a little lower on them than I think some people are.
So Kansas City, right?
Yeah, no. Kansas City, I think, is a toss-up game. I said Green Bay. Green Bay, most people would have a toss-up game. I think that they should win that game only because, like I said, I'm a little bit lower on them. Like, I don't know who he's throwing to. All of a sudden now, did you see that he came out and said, like, oh, yeah, I could see 50 catches for Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Like, your running backs are going to be your, like, main people?
Yeah, I don't know why he would come out and say that. But
like that's 100 catches between your two running backs.
Yeah, I don't know why he would say that publicly, but it's Rodgers. So Sammy Watkins, Robert Tonyan, Bobby Tonyan, man, those guys.
That's tough.
Cobb's still there. Yeah, it's not the cupboard is definitely bare. It's no Tay, so you gotta spread the ball around, bro. You're the GOAT, right? He's the GOAT, right? That's what people say. So
I don't know who said that. I do know. I do know who said that. I don't know who said that.
Back to back MVP, man. Spread that football around, bro.
Okay.
Make it happen. But for me, for the Bills, I think the key player and they have some talented guys, Gabe Davis. That's the guy I'm looking to see. He had a phenomenal divisional round game against the Chiefs, 4 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
They also got Jamison Crowder. I forgot about that.
They do have Jamison Crowder. Yes, they do. Dawson Knox as well. OJ Howard in that tight end group. Yeah. So they're loaded. But I'm looking at Gabe Davis. We know they want to take away Diggs. We know that's what the defense want to do. They want to double Diggs. Can Gabe Davis make the plays consistently throughout the season to establish himself as a key number 2 guy? He showed that against Kansas City when they doubled Diggs and he made some big plays. Can he do it for the entire season and in the playoffs again? That remains to be seen. If he does, I mean, the sky's the limit. And I forgot Von Miller, a big guy. $120 million deal, over 6 years.
It's the fakest contract ever.
Yeah, it's really
it's like a 2-year contract.
Right, yeah, 2 + 1, exactly. But just coming off the Super Bowl, former Super Bowl MVP, coming to that defense that's good already. But they could use some edge rushers. That was the main problem against the Chiefs. They couldn't get to Patrick Mahomes. He was standing in that pocket, 4th and 13.
CJ Corey says that Isaiah McKenzie is the guy you should be watching.
Well, yeah, he bodied
But here's the other thing. You're saying it should be Gabe Davis. He's saying that's just another person out of the list now. That's just another person out of the list.
Exactly. McKenzie's good. He had a great game against New England. He was destroying Miles Bryant all game in Foxborough. I was sick. Yeah, like 11 catches for $112 and a tud. He was going crazy.
Sick.
Yeah, I was sick, bro. He was going crazy in that game. I was stressing out, man. But yeah, he's a nice slot guy too. He's another guy that can make some plays. But yeah, their wide receiver core. But Gabe Davis, I feel like he has the prototype build to be a really good number 2 guy to complement. To complement Diggs. So if you got a 3-headed monster or 4-headed with Jameson, who's been a really consistent slot guy pretty much his whole career.
You know what else I think really helps the Bills too? I think that they're going to be the number 1 overall seed this year. And maybe it's not even going to be because they're so much better than everybody else, which I mean, I sort of believe. Like I said, probably 13 wins, But you look at the Chiefs and the Chargers and, the Broncos and the Raiders, those are probably other teams that you would think would get the number 1 seed. No shot, because they're going to kill each other. They are absolutely going to kill each other every single time they play. I see a lot of splits in that division, if I'm being honest. And then, Chiefs and Chargers play. I would think it's safe to assume whatever team you play next week, you're probably not 100% for. So can you all of a sudden drop a game there too because you just went all out trying to beat your division team and then you got to go play another team? So I think the Bills have it easier too where, listen, the AFC East I think is decent. Like the Pats are going to be decent. The Dolphins will be decent. I mean, I think the Jets are going to be very decent. But at least that you can see a 2-0 against the Jets. Like they could go 2-0 against. I mean, hell, they went. Well, I don't know. They went 1-1 against us last year, but I think if it doesn't, become a blizzard, they would go 2-0. And whatever. All of these things, it's possible for the Bills to only lose. We said before 1 or 2 divisional games. Like the Chargers, Chiefs, they could lose 4 on accident. So I think because then you got to remember, because then in the playoffs now you get the bye and all your games are going to be at home until the Super Bowl. I mean, that helps you out a lot. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. This Corey here. I think Gabe Davis is a bust. I don't think he'll be any better than his first 2 years. Hey, I'm interested to see how he played, man, because his last game was phenomenal, record-setting. So
we had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. So if he could, I know I was asking him to do that every single game, but if he could, meet him somewhere in the middle, I think he got a hell of a receiver. So want to see how it plays out for sure. Yeah, but this team is loaded, man. They got him ranked number 1 in the world, so hopefully they live up to it. I think it's great. And listen, again, my guy Nick, my guy Kaz, he's a Buffalo fan, and he hasn't. This is a great time for Buffalo.
It's new territory.
Yes, it is. It is to have the best quarterback in the division, to have a guy that's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Some people think he's the best quarterback in the league. To me, he's the best. To me, he's the best dual threat quarterback in the league. Right there with Lamar, I'd probably have him 1A. 35. Oh, you're talking about stats. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he should be better. He should be better. We'll see what happens with Gabe, but Bills fans, happy for Bills fans that they saw mediocrity at best at quarterback for the last 2 decades. So now you have a guy that can definitely win you a game any given Sunday, win you a Super Bowl potentially for the next 12, 13. I'm pretty sure those fans are extremely happy. They're extremely loyal. So I'm glad they're getting some shine and getting some winning on their side after a lot of years of disappointment.
What does Brady have the greatest record of all time against one single opponent against the Bills, right?
Yeah, like 35-3, something like that, bro. It's crazy.
Out of pocket. Out of pocket.
But going forward, that's not going to be the case for the AFC East. They got a good one.
Well, CJ, how about we round out the AFC East?
Let's do it with our squad.
With our boys. The New England Patriots, as you see right there, the 10-7 record last year, made the playoffs, got embarrassed against those Bills that we were just talking about. I'm in a weird spot. Love them as my football team. Not the biggest fan of the things we've done. Predictive rank 17. Interesting.
They got Miami 16, so people think.
Listen, here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. So, our offense on 7-on-7s walks down the field. Apparently, now listen. These are all reports coming out of camp. Don't come from me. I'm not at camp. 7-on-7, they're walking down the field. 11-on-11s can't do anything. Now, the other thing is, apparently the defensive line is supposed to be the best part of the Patriot team, the whole team. So does that mean, one, our defensive line is that beastie, or two, is our offensive line absolute garbage? And by the way, two things can be true, and I'm hoping it's not. I hope it's just that our defensive line is that good, and the offensive line is struggling because it's that good. Then I'm still not in love with what we got at the skill positions. I like what Hunter Henry and Mac did last year, so I expect that rapport to grow. Jonnu Smith was on a milk carton last year. I hope that because I was more excited for Jonnu Smith than I was for Hunter Henry originally.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping he gets back on track. There's some things out there that the Patriots want to get rid of. I can't think of our running backs. Damian Harris. Want to get rid of Damian Harris, and then today Malcolm Butler got placed on IR. I'm gonna be real, CJ.
Jawan Williams. Was it Butler too?
Butler got placed on it. Yeah.
Wow, both guys. So those two corners. Okay.
CJ, I'm gonna be real. I don't know any of our cornerbacks' names. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know a single cornerback's name. So
Sean Wade, Terrence Mitchell, Miles Bryant. It's not not Hall of Fame. Yeah,
concerning, some would say. Yeah, exactly. Right here. In addition to Butler, the Patriots placed fourth-year cornerback Jawan Williams on injured reserve with a right shoulder injury.
Jonathan Jones and Jalen Mills are going to be the guys.
Jalen Mills. All I can think of is. Was he the one that got bodied by CD to lose that game against the Cowboys?
Yep.
That's all I can think of when I hear his name. I despise him.
Yeah.
I mean, and then apparently, like I said, the offense just isn't the thing. We don't know who's calling plays. I don't know. Listen, I hope that they're good because it makes my life more fun. It was real good when the Pats were on top. Brady was slinging dots to Prime and Gronk, and we were winning Super Bowls. A little bit of a lull here, I would say. I mean, then again, they went 10-7, so I guess I can't really say lull. But yeah, I just don't the confidence level this year, I feel like I had more confidence last year. I'm not going to lie. And they went 10-7, so I should have more. But, I mean, they did bring in Parker. I like Parker. I think he'll be the clear number one. My only thing with that is, on a good team, he's probably a number 3. So that doesn't exactly make me the happiest person in the world. But I don't know. CJ, you're always more optimistic than I am as a whole. As a human being, you are. So I know you'll be more optimistic about this. Tell me why I'm wrong, please.
So on defense, Corey made some good points. Jalen Mills, Terrence Mitchell. Yep, Terrence Mitchell was pretty solid in that preseason game on Thursday, albeit a loss, but still it's just preseason.
Yeah, nobody
played it.
0-16 Lions went 4-0 in the preseason.
We got 2 rookie quarterbacks. We got 2 rookie cornerbacks as well. Jack Jones, Marcus Jones. Marcus Jones will probably be more on the special teams, kick and punt return for New England. Jack Jones made some splashes. He made some splashes in camp, but probably won't be ready. He was really good out of USC. Then he had some troubles. Then he went to Arizona State and really built himself back up. Great story. We'll see if he becomes a really good Patriot for us. But yeah, secondary, McCourty, vet. Definitely, I think it's great to have a guy like him, and with the younger secondary that we have, Kyle Duggar. I'm expecting him to make that second step, that next leap, establish himself as being a really good, strong safety.
Forgot about Jabril Peppers.
Jabril Peppers really. Our safety group is solid. It's solid. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep everyone. Somebody's going to eventually get cut, but Jabril Peppers, when he's healthy, he makes plays. So that safety group right there between those 3 guys is really good. Cornerback, yeah, it is a concern a little bit outside of Jonathan Jones. Jonathan Jones was really good for us last year before he hurt his shoulder and was out for the season. Linebackers. So you got McLennan, Roquan McLennan, Cam LeGrone. He redshirted last year because of the ACL out of Michigan. Fast guy, sideline to sideline type guy. Josh Uche, he's more like of a pass rushing type, outside linebacker type. Haven't seen a lot of Ronnie Perkins. He's probably going to be on that D line, outside linebacker as well, getting to the quarterback. Haven't seen too much of him. So looking to see what Mack Wilson does. Mack Wilson Sr., former Cleveland Brown.
Is Judon still technically considered a linebacker?
Yeah, because we play 3-4. So yeah, he's technically outside linebacker, more edge rusher. But Bill switches it up. He plays. It just depends on the team. So Mack Wilson, I think Mack Wilson is going to be the guy with the green light. Jawan Bentley's solid too. So the linebacker core, they're good. They're good, but they need to be faster. Definitely faster going up against these teams.
No more Hightower.
Yeah, no more Hightower, man.
No Collins.
No Collins. No, I mean Collins let him go, bring him back, let him go. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was insane. But now it's kind of give some of these young guys more of an opportunity to play. Like I said, Wilson Sr., Jawan Bentley. Those guys are going to have the opportunity to be those Mike and Will linebackers. Hightower was slow, very slow, very slow, man, very slow.
He was a run stopper.
If he was on the D line, I'd prefer that more than him being a Mike. Anthony Jennings could hopefully bring some speed as well. Yeah, another guy who was kind of redshirt the first year, really didn't play a lot last year. So they got some talent, but who's going to really stand out and be that guy? That remains to be seen at that linebacker spot. Then go to that D-line. I agree. D-line definitely is a plus for us. Christian Barmore looks like he's been dominating.
I was going to say, I heard he's been a dog.
Yeah, he's been dominating in camp, and that's great to see. Devon Godshaw, we just gave him an extension for 3 more years out of Miami. Really good run stuffing defensive tackle. Carl Davis, Lawrence Guy, Dedrick Wise. So, and then, of course, Judon, like you just talked about. So I think that D-line is really good. I could see Duggar playing. Yeah, I could see him playing in some nickel. Most likely, more times than not, he's going to have to play linebacker for that speed. He's definitely a really good tackler.
On the tight ends?
Yeah, well, of course. For sure. Yeah, Barmore, Garshar, and Henry Anderson too, another guy that we had picked up last year, really didn't play a lot. So the D line is good. The defense is underrated to me. It's underrated to me, man. I think they can make some play. Second, the cornerback position is the one that is the position that really concerns me on that side of the field,
especially in a offensive league.
Yeah, exactly.
Passing league too.
Yeah, exactly. Passing league. Everybody has one or two really good wide receivers, so you have to be able to cover those guys. But I think right there in the middle, we should be good in terms of stopping the run. So those guys on the outside are going to have to make plays. But if we could get some pressure, right in the middle of that pocket and the outside, it could create some opportunities for that secondary to make some plays. So best case scenario, I hope that happens. Offense. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the. I mean, listen, I guess they're auditioning for who's going to be the offensive coordinator, because there's no way you could go into the season and have two offensive coordinators for one quarterback, especially a young quarterback like Mac Jones going into his rookie year. I think Belichick is smart enough to know that. So I think Judge and Patricia are auditioning for the offensive coordinator spot. Who would I prefer? Maybe Patricia, because he comes from a defensive mind, so he could kind of he could talk to Mac and talk about what defenses are what they're going to do, how they're going to game plan against us. This is what we need to do, and then him and Mac could come to a happy medium and agreement of what players are going to be called in the headset. I think that's the best position for me. Joe Judge comes from special teams, so I just don't see how he'd be able to get that role. So I think Patricia would probably be my choice for offensive coordinator. And if it all goes to hell, then Bill will end up taking that role. But I think Bill will probably pass on.
This man Bill's gonna call the whole damn game.
Might have to. Yeah, defensive coordinators it's Gerard Mayo and Steve Belichick. So those guys are the defensive coordinator tandem or duo. I just hope he just does that on defense, and not, because offense is especially with a young quarterback. I feel like you have to have one guy in that headset. You can't have two guys talking to Mac. I just don't see that being successful. I really don't. Corey says, please, Patricia. Yeah, I'm gonna get to Taekwon. I'm gonna get to Taekwon for sure, man. I was excited for what I saw in that Giants game. I would definitely get to him right now. I'm gonna get to the running backs. I'm gonna get to O-line running backs. I'm gonna get to receivers and skill positions, and then finish out with Mac. O-line, Strange looking like a pretty good pick, man. Looking like he might be the starter. I know he definitely rolled some eyes like Connie's rolling his eyes right now as soon as I brought his name up.
I'm not rolling my eyes at the pick either. I'm rolling my eyes at where we got him. It still annoys me to no end.
If he turns out to be a stud, left guard for us,
but here's my.
It's a good pick.
Listen, it's going to be a good pick, but wouldn't it even have been a better pick if you got him in the second or third round, like everybody else thought?
But we always think that, and then these guys go higher or lower than expected. You know how the draft works.
3 rounds higher than we expected.
McVay doesn't have any first round picks, so he has to look in the third round. So he's making those jokes, but I mean he gave up all his first round picks. So I don't even know why he's talking about the first round. There's no reason for him to talk about it. All his picks are second and third round picks. Go until 2027. So that's
out of pocket.
That's McVay, and that's cool. And I'm a fan of that mindset, because you look at the math and the probability percentage of success rate in the first round, it's not very high. So give up those picks, especially if you're trying to win.
Trade for a great player than have a pick.
Yeah, always, of course, especially in football, no question about it. Yeah. So yeah, O-line, Shaq Mason was definitely a tough loss, but I like the O-line. I think Wynn and Brown on the end at tackle is good. They're good. Obviously, David Andrews is the captain of that O-line. He's a stud, perfect guy. I love him. And I'm blanking on. I think Owanawu is the guard for us on that offensive line. So solid. Running backs. I'm very high on Ramondre Stevenson.
Me too. I think he's
going to be. our premier back. Absolutely love Stevenson. This is Corey. Is it the zone run game they're moving to? Very possible. Very possible.
They are. Yeah, they are. They're moving.
Max said in an interview they want to play a lot faster. So they're getting rid of the fullback. They got rid of Jakob Johnson. So they definitely want to get faster and keep some more dual tight end sets out there, and have Jonnu and Henry in there in certain packages. So
go a little hurry up maybe.
Yeah, I would hope so. Cole Strange graded as a top. Yeah, like I said, he was really good out of Senior Bowl. He did a great job of making himself known because he coming out of Chattanooga something like that. So he had to show out. He did.
Didn't even have highlights of this man.
No highlights at all. Just Senior Bowl highlights. That was it for him, man. And hopefully, I think he's going to be really good for us. So yeah, that running back group. James White, man, hell of a career, man. One of the greatest Patriot running backs ever. I mean, you could put him up there you got to put him right up there with Kevin Folk.
The man literally is the only reason we won that Super Bowl.
Well, I know what you're saying.
I mean, listen, I'm exaggerating.
I know
what do you have? What do you have? Like 13 catches for like 150.
Set the record for most touchdowns and receptions for a Patriot in a game. Crazy, right? Think about Gronk and Edelman and all those guys, Randy, Welker, all the guys that Thomas played with. James White holds those records in the Super Bowl for New England. So he was clutch. He never fumbled, never had a fumble loss his entire career.
Really?
Crazy.
I did not know that.
Crazy, man. And I remember I was at Buffalo State when he got drafted. Everybody was talking about Monty Ball. Remember Monty Ball at Wisconsin? Maybe.
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For a little bit.
Yes, the Broncos, right?
It was him and James White. They were in that backfield.
Was it him and like No Sean Moreno? Was that the time period?
Yep. Yes, he was. That was right after they went to the bowl. Yeah. It was Ball and White. They were in that backfield, and Ball was getting a lot of the love. And James White came in there and New England, and I was like, all right, how's this going to work out? Because I believe we still have Vereen at the time, and Vereen left, and he came in there and took that third down back position by storm. Beautiful. Bro. Clutch. Could always count on him on third down. He could run between the tackles a little bit. People slept on that. Yes. Very, very, very shifty. Was able to get yards after the catch. Hell of a career. He's going to get a red jacket. Patriot Hall of Fame, no question about it.
Should at least, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a little clogged up right now. It's a lot of guys that are gonna get in soon, but he'll definitely get that red jacket for sure. And then also too, Richard Seymour just got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah.
Patriots, Patriot defensive lineman. So salute to James White, man. Hell of a career, man, and wish him nothing but the best going forward. Yeah, is this right? I believe this was a fake tweet.
It was a fake tweet.
Yeah, it's a troll tweet. Account. I did see that, and then going into the replies and looking at the bio, it's a troll account, bro. Yeah,
I do wish it was real though.
It doesn't even sound like Mac.
I really did wish it was real though, because I love some good drum.
And speaking of this joint practice, I heard Patriots were really getting the best of Baker.
I not even that. I heard that, and listen, I guess this should have stopped my offensive line concerns. I guess I heard they had 9 sacks.
Who had 9 sacks? The
Patriots. The Patriots had 9 sacks.
Wow, crazy.
Apparently.
Listen, like I said, our front seven is speed and a lot of strength and size up there in the front. So. I'm excited to see how that plays out. But yeah, back to running backs. Ramondre, I'm a big fan. I was a big fan watching the Oklahoma tape last year before he really got started with us. Yes, the fumble. He had that fumble. Was it really a fumble looking back? I don't think it was. Then he was able to get out the doghouse and play well. Had some really good games. The Tennessee game, the Panthers, the Browns, when he got the starting spot and he got 2 tuds. I think he could be a premier back for us. He has an element where he could catch the ball out the backfield.
He can catch the ball a little bit, yeah.
Sir, I remember that play against Dallas. He did the nice little wheel route on Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
he's good, man. He's the goods. I'm definitely high on Ramondre, and I like Damian Harris too. I'm a fan of him as well.
I think he's a little bit more of the power back type.
Yeah, he's a power back guy. I'm cool with running back by committee. I think having those two guys there is definitely a plus. People talking about trading him. I don't see the reason to trade him unless you feel like Pierre Strong and some of these other guys that we picked up. Ty Montgomery, another guy that could be that third down back for us.
He's on the Patriots.
Yes, he is. Yeah, number 14. Yep. Yeah, man, solid.
I missed some things. I did not hear about Ty Montgomery. I can't.
Ty Montgomery's on the pass, brother. Yeah, so he might be that third down back for us. He's done it for pretty much everywhere he's been. He could be a solid. If Ramondre is that, then I think that's perfect because not only can it creates deception for the offense because you don't know if he's going to run between the tackles or he's going to be a guy that can catch out the backfield because he's so good at running between the tackles. Man, I'm really high on Stevenson, man. I think he's sounds like he's taking the Stevenson sounds like he's taking the James White role. Yeah, it's very possible. I hope he takes all three downs. I mean, listen, like I said, I'm a big fan of Mondre. I think he's going to be really good for us. So the running back group is good. Wide receivers, Devontae Parker. So I think it's a good pickup. I'm not expecting all pro type level numbers because that's just not how the offense is ran with Bill. Bill likes wide receiver by committee. He doesn't like a premier guy unless it's one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, Randy Moss.
Whereas Edelman didn't even make a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. So,
which is out of pocket, by the way.
So right now, as it stands, it's Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Aguilar, Tyquan Thornton, and Tyquan Thornton. Trey Nixon has made some splashes here and there, but he actually he was really good in preseason. He was really good in preseason. Christian Wilkinson was really good in preseason as well. Tyquan Thornton was really good. So we got some young guys that
so good on Aguilar. So good on that.
Yeah, Aguilar is he's not the best. He's not the best.
Jacoby Myers, forgot about him.
I forgot about Jacoby. Yeah, and Jacoby Myers. So five guys. I named off like 8 wide receivers. Somebody's not gonna play. Somebody's gonna get cut. Somebody's gonna get cut. It could be Aguilar because if Tyquan Thornton is really making plays.
You think they would take the dead money though?
Man, knowing Bill, I don't think Bill's just a product of can you play or not, and either trade him. They're either going to trade him or cut him. No, and I told you Tyquan Thornton, man. I think he's going to be. He is small. He is small, but he has some really good speed. It looks like he's running some really good routes. Had the fastest recorded 40 in the combine this past year. So
those speed guys do slightly scare me though. All I can think of is John Ross.
Yeah, but he's 6'3", he's a lot taller. That hasn't had any injuries, and people knocked him, and people said again this was too high of a pick for New England. But at Baylor, they ran the football, and they didn't have a great quarterback, and he was the best. He was the best skill position player that they had over there at Baylor. So I think he's going to be good. Yes, he does need to get a little bit stronger, add some muscle, but I think that'll come with time. And if he develops a good rapport with Mac, I think. We could have a guy. I really do. I really think we could have a future wide receiver one going forward. It's still very early, but I definitely like what I'm hearing and what I've seen so far from Thornton. Kendrick Bourne, really solid number 2, and I'm just expecting Devontae Parker to stay healthy, make some key plays on third down, really be a factor in the red zone. I look at our offense and it's like, yeah, we don't have. I look at our skill positions, I should say, with Henry and Jonnu. Yeah, whatever. Adding Henry and Jonnu with the wide receivers, there's no elite guys, but if Mac is, if he makes that second leap if he makes that big leap in his second year, all those guys are good, are really good. Yeah. It's not like there's poverty at the position like it was 2 years ago. It's not like Demir Bird is okay. He's good. I forgot what team he's on.
I think he's on the Bears.
He is on. No, he went somewhere else.
Oh, he did.
He might be on the. He might still be on the. I'm not sure. I'm blanking right now. But
CJ, don't worry, I can tell you.
But yeah, it's not like what we had in 2020. I should just put it that way. It's definitely much more talent on that team, and
he is on Chicago.
He is on Chicago. Okay. Well, I think it just creates more options for.
Actually, I lied to you. He's on the Falcons.
He's on the Falcons. Okay,
he was on Chicago last year. My bad.
Okay. All right. So that's good. That's good for him, man. They got some solid guys, but I like this offense. I like this offense. Am I bullish on the offense? No, but it's gonna come down to 10. It's gonna come down to Mac Jones. At the end of the day, can he make this next leap? I think so. And I could see us winning. I could see us winning 10, going 10-7 again.
What is it? 85th best player in the league? 86th?
Yeah, 85 out of top 100.
Higher than Kirk.
I mean, he made the playoffs as a rookie quarterback. I mean,
higher than Kirk Cousins.
Is he better than Kirk right now? Of course not. But he had a more successful year in terms of the team success and him being a part of that. Everybody said this is an easy take. Is like he's the most NFL ready quarterback. That's easy to say. That's like that's not a profound take to me.
No, it's not.
Because they said the same thing about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the most NFL ready quarterback, and he's not. I mean, he just hasn't worked out. So
let me tell you something about Daniel Jones, though. And listen, I kind of crapped on Colin Cowherd earlier. Did you see what he said about Daniel Jones?
No, what did he say?
He's like, you know what I think of Daniel Jones? He's like, when I look at Daniel Jones, I think he went to Duke. He's like, basketball school. Like, if you asked me, like, you lined up a quarterbacks and be like, who do you think went to Duke? It'd be Daniel Jones. Like, he looks like he went to Duke. Nothing impressive. He was like a basketball school, did this. He's like, I think he looks like somebody who played at Duke. And it was low key funny as hell.
It's just what it is, man. Just what it is. But for Mac, I'm expecting a really good season. I think again the offense is very balanced. It's very balanced. We don't need him to be Josh Allen. We don't need him to be Tom Brady 2007. Just protect the football. Don't turn the ball over with picks. Be a little bit better than a game manager. Yeah, push the ball down the field. Yes, I definitely agree. He should be definitely needs to be more aggressive, but make sure it's at the right time. And like I said, I like this offense. It's a good off. It could be a good offense. It's not going to be this all world type offense, but I think it's better than what we've had in years past.
They were top 10 last year. Corey said, I think they stay there.
And then the last thing for me, John, like you talked about Jonnu Smith, man. Yeah, I need to see that.
Oh, need it. Don't want it. Don't want it. I need to see him play better. I'm talking SpongeBob and water need it type of situation here.
Facts. That's exactly what I need to see from Jonnu Smith, because we get rid of the fullback. So now he should be playing more in that wide position right there in the slot, making plays. Use your strength, use your athleticism, get yards after the catch. That's what you did in Tennessee. That's why you got all the bread. So live up to it. Last year it was struggling.
Remember Bill said that he was the greatest or like the best run after catch tight end that he had seen? A couple years they played the Titans a few years ago, and Bill was like best catch yard after catch tight end I've seen. I was like, Jesus, where the hell did that go last year?
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. So hopefully this year I just need to see more than 2 touchdowns, man. Like that just wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough last year. So I'm expecting
got a very wide neck.
I'm just
he's got a very wide neck.
I'm just expecting him to step up, play a role. If everybody plays their role, again, it sounds cliche, but the Belichick do your job.
Do your job.
If everybody does that, I can see us going 10-7, bro. I really can. People saying we're going to be the third best team in the division. That's why this episode is called No Longer the AFC Least, because for years it was just New England running roughshod through this division for a decade plus. Now there's Buffalo are the favorite, but people are saying, are they going to split? Everybody's not saying Buffalo's going to sweep Miami and New England. There's discussions to where there could be some splits, and then between Miami and New England, they're going to be competitive because of what Miami has done against New England. pretty much in the last 5 years, despite what their regular season record has been. It's always competitive. So I'm excited for this team. I think they're going to struggle in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I'm staring at a 1-3 to start the season. By the way,
1-3 to start the season.
Because listen, I gave the split to Miami, but I had Miami win the first one, then Miami losing when they have to come play us in the cold in January. So if I got a split, then that means I think they're beating Pittsburgh, losing to Baltimore, Green Bay, Miami. I think you beat Detroit. You should. I mean, they destroy Cleveland. I thought it was last year, 2 years ago. Was it last year?
Yeah, it was. It was.
So I mean, you hope you beat Cleveland. You got to beat Chicago. Got to beat the Jets.
Yeah, first 6 games, I could see 3-3. I could.
Yeah, I can go with that. I mean, Indianapolis, I low-key got a loss, even though it is at home. I like Indy this year. I mean, I don't think that they're going to be great. I don't think they're going to be some unbelievable team. But, bro.
It's a tough game. So
Jonathan Taylor is a dog.
So through 8, I got 5-3.
Let's see. I got a loss to Miami, win against Pittsburgh, 1-1. 1-2 Baltimore, 1-3 Green Bay, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, 5-3, 5-4 against Indy, 6-4 Jets.
I don't know about Indy, man. It's at Foxborough. You always give them problems at Foxborough. Lucas Oil Stadium. It's just some magic over there at Lucas Oil Stadium. They always play well. They have a really good team as well. We'll talk about the AFC South next week. They have a They have a really good team. Their defense is excellent. Obviously, they got one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best, in Taylor. But I think that's going to be a close game. We always have close games against them. And
I got 6-4 going into Minnesota. I think that could be a loss, honestly, and only because it's in Minnesota. So I mean, I guess. Well, listen, I'll go 6-5. I think you. Oh no. 6. All right, so I'll go 7-5 because I got to split with the Bills. We'll win the home game. I got 7-6. I don't think you win in Arizona. Man, Vegas, I might have a 7-7. I got a 7-8 Cincinnati, and then 8-8 Miami, 9-8 Bills. Look, I've gone up 2 wins, CJ.
Hey. I think there'll be a game here where you might have said we lost that we win. So we're right there.
Don't get me wrong. I could see us beating Indy.
Yeah, we're right there, bro. 10-7, 9-8. I'm glad. Yeah, exactly. You went up 2 wins. You said 7-10.
Yeah, exactly. See, optimism here.
Hey,
the king of optimism right here.
It's a tough conference. It's a tough division. It's not going to be easy for sure. That's what I'm saying. It's going to come down to number 10, bro, because we got one of the best head coaches in the league. So I know preparation is not going to be the issue. It's going to come down to execution. And a lot of that's going to rely on number 10.
Well, CJ, let me tell you something. I think we executed a hell of an episode.
Yes, sir.
A hell of an episode. And listen, with that, I'll give the mic over to CJ as I always do, the important one of the show. Let me tell you. To tell the people what he's got going on in the world.
Yeah, again, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube or other platforms, if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for the next time Connie and I go live. You also have other shows covering other sports leagues. So if you want to see us again throughout the week, make sure you definitely hit that subscribe button. You can find me on linktree.com/cjames9. Find out everything that I'm working on regarding the Patriots, the Knicks, NFL here with Connie and the Hard Count, NBA, Garda Podcast, and Count the Bucket, and some of the other things, getting back into gaming as, fall time comes around. That's where all the new games start to drop. So definitely getting back on Twitch and starting to game a little bit more as well. So definitely, man. Yes, sir.
Look at this. Hardest working man in show business today. As for me, Anthony Conner _ on Twitter for all my thoughts on everything going on. Monday is Generational Sports with me and Josh. Talk a little bit about everything. Obviously, like CJ said, make sure you tune in every Tuesday at 9 Eastern for the Hard Count. Listen, especially with football season coming up, content's going to only get better. Sure, we'll be posting some clips and everything like that from the show. Really start promoting everything. Hopefully, you have some people on. and go from there. Thursdays, Backstop Banter with me and Michael, everything in the baseball world. Like I always say, it's kind of like this show, except the baseball version of it. All three of those podcasts available via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. So make sure you go and check all of those out. Also, like CJ said, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Everybody here is working their ass off to make some good content for everybody. We're all having fun doing it as well, but it's even more fun when we get to talk to people that we don't talk to every day.
And one last thing too that Connie and I were talking about earlier in the day, September 6th, right?
Yes, sir.
Before the first game of the season, Bills Rams. We're kind of doing like an NFL kickoff preview week 1 show. We're gonna have some guests on with either some people from our network, our Unwrapped Sports Network, or some of our friends, or maybe have some different guests from the NFL world to come in, talk about the first week of the season. And also I'm doing a watch party for that game on Thursday on the September 8th as well at 8:00 NBC Thursday Night Football. So definitely look out for those 2 events. We'll definitely remind you guys as the time gets closer.
I hope CJ doesn't lose my invite in the mail to that watch party. I hope he doesn't lose the invite.
You're always invited, brother.
With all that being said, thank you everybody for watching. Listen, I'm going to go watch. I already got it loaded up. Episode 2 of Hard Knocks. Make sure you guys check that out. We'll obviously recap that again on the next episode. Motor City Dan Campbell, baby. But like I said, with everything being said, I appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate another excellent show from my guy CJ. And listen, everybody. Until then, we'll see you next.